Welcome back to another video. Today I have for you a working Lego bowling alley. For this machine, I decided to give myself a challenge and only use one EV3. This limits me to only 4 motors and 4 sensors. Now this challenge was tough. I had to do a lot of planning and decide what exactly each motor needs to do. I have the first motor powering 4 conveyor belts. My first idea for the pin reloading system was for the pins to be picked up by their heads before being carried to the top. And if the pins came in backwards, the conveyor belt would just flip them over. But it wasn't very consistent and the pins kept getting jammed. And on top of all of that, I had no idea how I was going to dismount the pins after they reached the top. So that idea was thrown out the window. My second idea was to have the pins be carried up on their side. And when I tried it, it worked pretty well. I added another conveyor belt on the top, and after that, it was ready to go. Now the second conveyor belt at the top of the machine could probably be substituted for a simple ramp, but I already built it and it worked fine, so if it ain't broke, don't fix it. The second motor is in charge of the pin sweep, so after each round it can sweep the pins. Now the pin setter, this is by far my favorite part. So it only has one motor controlling it, and all that motor can do is raise or lower the whole pin setter. That means that it needs to be able to hold the pins at the top, release the pins once they reach the bottom, and then pick up the remaining pins after you bolt the first time. So the way it works is they're 2 separate pincers, and they can hold the pins by their heads, or they can just support the pins by their butt. All of these pincers were attached to each other, so they're either all closed or all open. Now there are 3 separate levers controlling the state of closed or open. The first one is when the pin setter is all the way at the top, it forces the pincers to be closed. So that way, when the pin distributor brings the pins to the pin setter, they don't just fall through. Now the second state is when the pin setter is all the way at the bottom. There's a piece of dental floss tied to this circle thing. So that way once it reaches the bottom, the circle gets pulled taut and it opens the pincers. Now the third state is by far the most clever. So on the pin setter, there is a lever. Once it reaches a certain height, there's a bar that forces it to be closed. That allows it to pick up the pins by their heads. So once the pincers come all the way down at the perfect height, it'll grab the pins by their heads and then it can come back up. This was my idea for the pin distributor. It was a good idea, but the angle is way too sharp, so I rebuilt it and it worked fine. So for the sensors, I had the ultrasonic sensor that could detect proximity, so that way when the door opens and the ball comes out, the machine knows that you bolt. The second sensor I put at the top of the conveyor belt, so if the ball hasn't cycled yet, the machine will still know that you bolt. The third sensor I placed just before the pins enter the pin setter. So that way the pin distributor motor knows exactly when the previous pin went in the pin setter, then it can rotate the ramp to the next spot. This ensures that two pins will never go to the same spot.
Wait, catch that?
The last component for this machine that I made was the pin flipper. This pin flipper is in charge of flipping the pins, so that way when they go down the chute, they are facing the right way instead of head first. So if the pin goes down the ramp and it's already the right way, it won't get flipped. But if it's the wrong way, it'll roll like a ball, flip itself over, and then continue down the chute. Now, after all of that was done, I still had one sensor port remaining, so I decided to hook up a touch sensor at the front of the machine. I even made a little window, so that way when it's on green, that means you'll keep bowling, and if it's on red, then it'll wait until the round is done before pausing the program. If you've ever been bowling before, you've probably noticed there are 10 pins. For this machine, I only used 6 pins. The reason being, I couldn't figure out how to use one motor to get pins to 10 different locations instead of 6.
That means it's really easy to get a strike.
One flaw of this machine is that it won't know you bowled a strike until it sensed all 6 pins. After that, it'll sweep it again before resetting the round. That'll be all for today. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.